Generally speaking, I just want to say don't overlook your position. Don't believe the lie that you have nothing to contribute when it comes to being the hands and the feet of Jesus and sharing the gospel and doing ministry, because you do have something to contribute. You have a beautiful, important part to play in this as well. What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Cameron. I make Christian content including a lot of sit-down style videos like this where we drink coffee and talk about the Lord. I also love to share fun vlogs, so if either of those things intrigue you, feel free to subscribe. Those of you who have been watching my videos, you probably recognize the glasses that are something new. Don't get used to them. This is temporary. I'm just waiting for my next eye doctor appointment so I can get more of the daily contacts that I wear. I ran out. This might be one of the only videos that I am wearing glasses in, and the reflection with the light is really bothering me, so I'm really sorry, just bear with me. I do love my glasses though, I'm just more of a contacts person. Before we get into the video, today I'm drinking a caramel breve. I got it from my favorite local place here in town. It is a perfect day for a hot latte or a hot breve. I say that pretty much in all my videos, but every day is a perfect day to drink any and every kind of coffee. I wanted to start out today's video with just sharing the thought that ministry can happen anywhere and everywhere if you are a Christian, regardless of what career you are in, or if you are a stay-at-home mom or a college student or a high school student or middle school or whatever. You can be a part of ministry. You can do your part in ministry, and we'll get into that more later, but I just think it's a really cool thing to think about, and I just really want to talk about how we are all part of the church and like a part of being the hands and the feet of Jesus, and it's not just limited to Sunday morning church services. It happens anytime, any place, and so let's just dive a little bit deeper into that. I think about Jesus's life and just reading the Gospels. He was doing ministry any place, anytime. Jesus taught from a boat, which I think is pretty cool when you think about it. He preached while on the road going from point A to point B. Also did ministry while gathering in people's homes. I think taking from that today, we just know as Christians that we get to be the hands and feet of Jesus, and I think looking at his life and learning from his life, we can do that in maybe the most random places or what seems like inconvenient times. It's still opportunities to talk about the Lord and share his truth with someone who maybe has never heard it before. Talking to people about Christ and sharing the gospel with someone who's never heard it is not limited to when you are at church and someone is showing up because they're interested. Those conversations can also happen at coffee shops. They can happen when people are out at Walmart buying their groceries. It can happen when someone is going to their dentist appointment or their doctor appointment. And so I want to encourage you, if you work in any of those fields, or that's just an example, that is an opportunity to share Christ's love. Just pray that you can, and as we continue talking about this, that you can know to have your eyes and your ears open and just to be ready, because you never know when a cool opportunity might come up for you to share God's love with somebody. Generally speaking, I just want to say don't overlook your position. Don't believe the lie that you have nothing to contribute when it comes to being the hands and the feet of Jesus and sharing the gospel and doing ministry, because you do have something to contribute. You have a beautiful, important part to play in this as well. The truth of the matter is not one person can do it all. There's not one person that is able to reach everybody at once, right? That's why we all get to do our part. And maybe it's a small part. Maybe it's a small thing in your little corner of the world, but it still matters greatly. And I hope that you can be encouraged to know that you can do your part. To love people, talk to someone about Christ, start asking questions, to be an example of love and of sharing God's light wherever you go, whatever you do. I've heard this analogy before, and I think that it is really encouraging to think about. And this analogy is basically saying that there are two kinds of people, or maybe two kinds of opportunities where someone can share the gospel or talk about Christ with people. And on one hand, someone can have a really big platform, whether that is just a preacher at a big church or a speaker at some kind of event, and they might be talking to hundreds or thousands of people at once. That is a great thing, but that's not super realistic for, I would say, most people and most Christians. On the other hand, we have the person who maybe they just lead one person to Christ, or they have one friend at work or even someone in their family and they just talk to them about Jesus, share the gospel with them. That person who they talk to, they then turn around and go share the gospel with someone else. It just starts this like chain effect in this long line of people who are sharing the gospel and doing their part. And I just think that's a really cool way to look at it, because I think when we compare ourselves to preachers and speakers and teachers and all these people who are doing amazing things, we think, oh, we don't have that opportunity, we don't have that platform, so we just can't do it, or we shouldn't do it. The truth is, more people, or most people, actually realistically have opportunities to just share the gospel with one person at a time, you know, whenever that is, whatever opportunity arises. When you think about it in that way, it still matters greatly. If you are a Christian right now, you can probably think of a handful of people who have played an important role in leading you to Christ and mentoring you. I know that I can think of people at my church, people in my family, friends my age who have just encouraged me in my faith and encouraged me to grow, and I really thank them for that. I hope that they know how important of a role that they had in just raising me up to know Jesus and just knowing his word. When I think about them, I'm just really encouraged that even what seems like a small thing, it matters greatly. So when you're thinking about that, I want you to know that you might not always know the big outcome, the big end result. You can have peace that you know you did your part and you stepped in and said yes to an opportunity to love someone and to talk to them about Jesus and challenge them and encourage them, and it matters greatly. I can think of friends who I will just call up and text, and we did this in high school and even now that we've all graduated, but we'll just get together and just talk about the things that God is teaching us, the things that God is encouraging us with. I know that I can reach out to them like today if I had an urgent prayer request, and I know that they would be there for me. And so I think also just being a godly friend and being an encouragement to somebody and just knowing that they can rely on you for prayer and to be there for them, like that is so important. It's really beautiful to think how God uses our willingness and our availability to do great things for him. We don't have to rely on our own talents and our own special abilities, because it's actually God working through us. It's God providing the opportunities. It's God giving us the words to speak whenever the opportunity arises. This might be reminding you of someone in scripture. When I was taking these notes, I instantly thought of Moses, who ended up leading the Israelites out of Egypt, but when the opportunity first came up, he was not feeling super confident. I feel like it's safe to say that he didn't really want to do it. He started telling God that he was not a good speaker, he was inadequate, he couldn't do it. But God assured him that he was going to be speaking through him. He was going to help him and give him the words to say. And I think it's really cool that God didn't just say, Moses, you're good at this, you can do it, I believe in you. God was encouraging Moses to turn around and trust him even more, to rely on him even more. And I think when we say the same things to God today, if we feel nervous about talking to someone about Jesus or whatever, God's going to encourage us to depend on him, to lean on him, and to say, I will give you what you need when you need it. This obviously still applies to us today. The truth is we can come up with a lot of excuses, and I just want to be honest with you guys that I struggle with having the courage, I guess, and the commitment to be bold and have maybe hard conversations with people. It can be really scary sometimes. It can be really easy to come up with excuses as to why we don't want to do something or maybe encourage somebody. I think when we stop thinking so much about us and our weaknesses or just how we feel inadequate, and we start focusing on God and everything that he can do and all of his strengths, and just help us feel more equipped to do the things that God has called us to do. A quick example I want to give is that when I was a senior in high school, me and my sister felt really encouraged to start an at-home Bible study. We did it for I think 6 or 8 weeks, once a week, and it was definitely very nerve-wracking for both of us. Neither of us are like super talkative people, so it was a little nerve-wracking, but we saw this opportunity and we really prayed about it and thought it would be a good thing. And so once a week for a couple of months we had girls over to our home It was my parents' house. I still lived at home. And my sister would come over and we would have this little study, and I would always pray before and just pray that God would give me whatever words I needed just to help me to have confidence in leading a study and leading the conversation and just helping it to flow smoothly. All of that, it could have stressed me out if I was so focused on myself and how I'm awkward talking to people, or I'm not good leading a group discussion. Like, I feel like I'm more of a follower and not a leader. Instead, I was thinking, okay, God has opened this opportunity for me. I believe that he'll provide. I believe he'll give me the words to speak, and most importantly, like, when these girls come, I want their hearts and their minds to be open to whatever discussion we're talking about, and I pray that it encourages them and clicks with them and can just help them grow and learn in some new beautiful way that is beyond me. I think having that perspective is really, really important. I feel like this conversation was a little bit all over the place, so I apologize if it felt very chaotic. I have notes that I stick to, but sometimes I kind of just go off on little rabbit trails, so I'm sorry if that was crazy. My final closing thoughts today is just that whether you are a receptionist or a teacher, or you make coffee, or you work in some kind of food industry or clothing industry, or whatever it is, I pray that you know that God can use you to be a light in your workplace for him. Whether that's having conversations about faith with people, whether that's just being loving and kind and hardworking in the workplace, like, that goes a really long way. Choosing not to gossip, choosing not to put others down, and choosing to always work hard and do the right thing even when you feel tired, or even when nobody else is maybe going the extra mile to do things at work. I pray that you would just continue to be committed and just to be a light in that way. Most importantly, I just pray that you would pray for opportunities that God could give you to open doors. Because sometimes it can be hard if you want to do something to share Jesus in the workplace, but you don't really know what to say or what to do. Pray for those opportunities. So I know this might seem kind of weird, I don't know, but I really wanted to pray to close out today's video. So if you're watching, please just close your eyes, bow your head. I'm going to pray for you, and then we'll be done. God, thank you so much for the person on the other end of this video. I pray that you just help us to grow in being courageous and sharing you with the people in our lives. I pray that we would not overlook our position, but please help us to be intentional every single day to be a light for you in our workplace, or if we don't have jobs and we're at home, I pray that we can be a light in our homes for you, Lord. Please help us to be grounded in your word. Please help us to be committed to spending time with you and just wanting to grow and be rooted and established in you, Jesus. I pray we would not look to our own abilities for strength, but that we would depend on you and let go and just let you be in control. Please give us open doors that we can confidently walk into that help us share you, whatever that looks like, whether it's through conversations or whatever, Lord. Please give us the words to speak and give us strength and confidence. Lord, I love you, and I want to pray all this in your name. Amen. Cheers to that. That is all that I have for you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye!